Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Newscast. It is Friday, so here's all of your retro handhelds, retro gaming, and gaming news. This is going to be a long one. There's a lot that we have to talk about. In case you haven't been paying attention, there's a lot of devices that got announced this week. Retroid Pocket Nova, the Ambernic, whatever, and Ayaneo Pocket Micro 2. There's a lot that we have to talk about. So let's just jump right in. Now, I do want to mention something very quickly. I am filming this Thursday morning because I'm taking Friday off. My wife and I are going to be playing hooky, which means I have Friday off. I usually record this Friday mornings, so I might miss something that happens Thursday night, Friday morning, which I think is just the Ayaneo Pocket Micro 2 news, which might be pricing and specs. So if I miss that, it'll be covered next week, but otherwise, just letting you know. That's why I'm all disheveled and everything. I'm not ready for this. I wasn't ready for a day earlier. But then she was like, let's take tomorrow off. And I was like, oh, yes, let's do that. So this is coming a day early. It might actually be posted a day early. We'll see. News time. First up, there is now a way to play your Portmaster games on Android via something called Starboard. Now, I admittedly have not had a chance to look at this really at all. I saw it on Reddit. I saw people talking about it. I don't know the good or the bad or what's happening, what's working, what's not. But if you want to play Portmaster games on Android, this is the way to do it. There is dual screen support, apparently, according to them. You can integrate it into Emulation Station if you're using that as a front end, and no root is required. So you could just use your games and play them. This is pretty cool for anybody that's wanted Portmaster on Android. Go check it out and report back. Game Native version 1.1.0 pre-release or release preview is now out. Looking over the changelog, and it looks like one big thing they added here is something called Surface Flinger, which is a renderer option. It reduces latency and increases FPS. So this should be a option next to Vulkan or OpenGL as something that should help gaming. Interested in checking that out when I get a chance. Otherwise, just looks like they've improved Pulse Audio. They've made it better for seeing what games are compatible with your device. And then there's a big, long changelog, which we're not going to get into everything. But long story short is a lot more updates, a lot more changes, a lot more bug fixes. So you should update if you want, or just wait for the stable release, which is probably what most people should do. Ymir version 0.3.2 is now out. It is the Sega Saturn emulator that I always say that I am going to cover, but I never get a chance to actually look at. But with this one here, looks like the highlight here is a lot of fixes to bug fixes and accuracy. So it looks like they've made a lot of gains in compatibility and performance, which is really big. It is awesome to see a Sega Saturn emulator getting full updates and being very good. Now, it is a work in progress emulator, but it is really well done from what I hear. So you should check it out. Ymir is on PC only at the moment. No Android port that I'm aware of. So if you want to check out Sega Saturn on PC, you should check it out. ARM SX2 Refresh is now on the Google Play Store, and they've had a lot of updates over the last week on GitHub, which is the same as the Google Play Store. Now, ARM SX2 is the PlayStation 2 emulator that we've been talking about for a long time now. It is in development, it is new, but they've made huge gains. I tried this, when did we talk about it? 2 weeks or a week ago? And it was kind of bare bones, there was no UI, none of that. I went and booted it up yesterday, and there's a full UI, there's everything in there now. So it has gotten a lot better in just a week, which is crazy. I am looking forward to this being the go-to PS2 emulator pretty soon. I don't know how quickly that's going to be. I keep saying that, I know, but it's getting there. It really is getting there. So I haven't had a chance to really test this and put it through the paces, but from what I saw yesterday and playing it for just an hour or two, it was doing a lot better than I expected. So ARM SX2, you can check it out. It is now on the Play Store or in GitHub. Last of the software news, and Dolphin release 2606 has a progress report, which that means it's out as well, from what I understand. Usually that's how it works. But they are now supporting the Game Boy Player, which is not something I am familiar with on the Wii or GameCube. But it looks like it was an attachment that attached to the bottom of the GameCube, and it let you play Game Boy games or use those games in some games. I don't actually know. For anybody that does know, point it out in the comments. But if that's something you're interested in, they have support for it. The last unplayable Triforce game, The Key of Avalon, is no longer has that title, so it is playable. I'm just reading it as we're going here. And lastly, we have a lot of graphic mods that are quietly fixing a lot of issues at high resolution for Dolphin games, so GameCube and Wii. Anyways, you want to check this out, update Dolphin to 2606. Okay, so question of the week here. What is your comfort game? Comfort series, comfort whatever. What do you go back to all the time while you're out gallivanting and you're just, I need a quick fix of my video gaming for this week or day or whatever it is. And you're just like, I'm going to boot up X. For me, for the longest time, it was Rocket League. Rocket League was the game where if I had a free minute, I was in Rocket League and I was playing it. But then it got to the point where it was like every free minute I was in it. And so I was not playing games. Like I was only stuck into that. And it just became a cycle that I had to break because I wanted to go and play other games. So for me, it was Rocket League for a long time. Nowadays, I guess Pokemon would be my answer. I'm constantly playing Pokemon in some way, shape, or form, any ROM hack or whatever. But yeah, used to be Rocket League. That was the comfort game. So let me know what yours is. What's your comfort game? We talked last week about the Anbernic RG55G1. I think that's what it's called. Yes, and it is coming out pretty soon. I'm guessing Anbernic's actually later than usual on announcing all of this. But we don't know the specs as of yet, a lot of the specs. However, YouTuber user Retro Godfox was able to find the Geekbench scores on Geekbench for this device. Looks like this is a Snapdragon 4 Gen 2, which is not what it actually is going to be. It is going to be a Snapdragon G1 Gen 2, according to the benchmarks, because it is a rebadged Snapdragon 4 Gen 2, from my understanding. This is still unconfirmed, but usually this ends up being correct. We've found devices and processors through Geekbench before, but it looks like it's going to be a G1 Gen 2. What does that mean? What we expected, pretty much, but let's wait on official confirmation before we talk about it anymore. Steam Machine prices are now out, and we are not going to spend a lot of time on this because Valve didn't on the pricing. We have a starting price of $1,049 for the 512GB model without controller, going up to $1,428 for the 2TB model with the controller. So long story short, if you want a Steam Machine, it's going to cost about $1,050 base. Now, this isn't a product for me, like at all. I have no use for this. I have a PC. I don't need another PC that just does nothing for me. If I wanted a second PC in a living room or something, I would stream. It's just so much easier. But if you want to buy an underpowered little box, it's $1,050. Now, there's two ways you can look at this, because I look at it one way and others look at it another way. There is actually truly no actual competitor to the Steam Machine for the size. So if you're buying this for the size because it's small and it's compact and it can go wherever you want. However, with that size comes trade-offs. Like, you can't replace the RAM, you can't replace a lot of things. It is not upgradable in that way. It is a disposable type of mini PC, which is fine. We've seen that before. But if you have the space for anything else, then literally any pre-built machine is better than this. I went and checked and I could find like 3 or 4 different pre-built machines that are cheaper than this with better specs. And that was me checking for like 5 minutes. So yes, this probably has a niche for people that want whatever small device and SteamOS pre-installed and all of that sort of thing. But this is one of those things where you're paying more for less. So if you didn't have a PC and you want a PC, you could go get a PC for like any pre-built machine. Not even talking about buying it yourself, just pre-built, which nobody ever talks about. Like we always have these videos and whatever of like, I built the Steam Machine or whatever. You could just go buy it. You just go buy it. Like it's fine, because usually those like I built it videos are like, well, here's the processor, whatever. I bought this from Micro Center and all that. And I got this 7TB drive or 8TB drive from my uncle. That helps nobody. But anyways, Steam Machine for $1,050 is a bad price. It is about $300 more than it should be. Not something that like I have an interest in anyways, but like when I saw this, I just started laughing. Like it was just laughing because it terrible pricing. The funniest thing that came out of this is everybody taking Valve's side on this one with like, Valve can do no wrong. So it's like, oh, it's okay, Valve. Like, we understand the market is real bad, but when like Nintendo or Sony or whatever, or Xbox does it, it's like they're donkeys. It's the whole meme of that. But anyways, let's move on to a better story because there's nothing really to talk about with the Steam Machine. It's kind of dead. Probably the most exciting news of the week, at least if you're me, is the OneXPlayer 3 pricing. Now, for those that don't know, a lot of people have been talking about the MSI Claw 8EX AI Plus, whatever the hell it's called, this week. But that isn't the best G3 Extreme device that's coming out this week or announced this week. That is probably the worst. The Intel G3 Extreme OneXPlayer 3 with the detachable controllers, 8.8-inch OLED, 120 hertz, 144 hertz screen, I forget what it is, but the high refresh rate, VRR, all of that. It's the Legion Go 2 screen. Is starting at $13.99. $13.99 for that. Just as a reminder, the MSI Claw starts at $17.99. Or is it $16.99? Whatever it is, doesn't matter. It's like $300 or $400 more for a worse product. Like worse. So this, in recent memory that I can recall, is the first time that we have a random Chinese company like a OneXPlayer, GPD or whatever, having a cheaper price than a name brand like an MSI, Asus, Lenovo PC handheld. I can't recall this ever happening before, but here we have. Like, this is unequivocally better spec-wise than the MSI Claw, like by every margin. The battery is internal. It's not even an external battery, which is what I thought. I get confused with the OneXPlayer SKUs. It's an internal battery of 85 watts, which is great. Then you have the actual detachable controls, which I don't like, but they're there, which means you can buy the little keyboard attachment, so you can connect this as like a little 8.8-inch laptop if you wanted to. I'll probably never take those things off, but it's fine. So as you can probably tell, I pre-ordered one of these at $1,400. This is hard to say no to. Even though that I am not convinced that an 8.8-inch screen is for me, I'm very curious to know more about this device because $1,400, fantastic price for this. Even in today's market, even in previous today's market. Like the Z2 Extreme Xbox Ally X is $1,000. $400 more gets you 8.8-inch OLED VRR, 120 hertz, let's say that. I don't remember what the actual refresh rate is, but it is higher than 120 hertz. And the G3 Extreme, which is, I am unconvinced that it is wholly better than the Z2 Extreme because I have not seen actually good benchmarks on this yet. But it is better. We know it is better. I just don't know how much better. It is not $700 better, which is the MSI Claw. Is it $300 or $400 better, which is the G3 Extreme OneXPlayer 3? I think so. So anyways, you should check this out. PC handheld enthusiasts. Don't let this one skip by. This looks really good. Just check it out. Next up, I have an apology to announce, but also we have to talk about this first. You might recall that I told you about a deal with the TrimUI Brick Pro U Hammer, whatever the hell it's called, where you could get it for $136 off of GoGameGeek using my code Joey for 15% off. Because it was $159, you could get it for $136. Turns out that was a price error, which I guess I probably should have known, but also how would I have known? I don't know. Anyways, let me read the email. Basically, it was a price error, and they are telling us in an email that if you want the device, you have options. You could pay the difference, which means another $76.50 on top of that, or $52.50 if you bought it at the $160 price, or you can exchange for the plastic version, which makes no sense, or you could get a full refund, which is the route that I'm going. So let me back up and let's walk through all this and what happened. I used to get devices from GoGameGeek like a year and a half ago, a year ago, whatever. It's been a long time, very long time since I've gotten a device from them. Then I stopped. I stopped getting devices from every third-party reseller for the most part, besides the TrimUIs that I used to review. Reason being, they were never competitive price-wise, and they were always late, and I could just buy it myself, and it wasn't worth the hassle. Like, I don't need the free device. I will just go get it. And then I had that issue with Miyu, who wanted to take down my review through GoGameGeek. And so to avoid all the hassle of third-party resellers, I decided to just buy all of my devices. Now, GoGameGeek has always been good to me. I've never had an issue. People have used them for years. They've always been very good. And I've always had a discount code with them for 15% off. So when somebody on my Discord was like, hey, you could use your code to get this for $136, I was like, hell yeah, let me share that with everybody and everybody can go buy this. Purely like, hey, this is a good deal, let's go buy this. Never in my mind thinking that like, oh, they're going to not honor this. This is going to be a price error or whatever, which ends up being the case. So number one, apologies for this one. Not something I wanted to happen, obviously. And I am in the same boat as you all because I'm getting the refund and I bought one. So like I'm in the same boat. But I guess like I don't even know what I could have done differently here is I guess my final thing here. Like I'm apologizing and I'm sorry for it, but like I don't know what I could have done. Like if I see another deal, I'm not gonna not post it. Like I can't second guess that and be like, well, is this a price error or not? You know what I mean? Like I'm just gonna post it and I guess we'll deal with whatever the fallout is, which in this case, everybody's getting their money back if they want it and all that sort of thing. So at worst, I think you might lose the 3% conversion if you didn't use a no forex fee card, which sucks, I know. But other than that, no harm, no foul, I guess. The harm is apparently they sent out an email to people using their email address in the to field. So there was like, I don't know, a whole bunch of people in the to field. So it kind of exposed emails to people, which I wasn't in that email. So I don't know what happened there, but that's a whole other different thing and story. Long story short, this went from bad to worse. And so apologies for this one. Apologies for what happened here. It's just an unfortunate sequence of events. So if you did buy a TrimUI Brick Pro U-Hammer from GoGameGeek and got the deal, then keep an eye out on your email or maybe be proactive in canceling it in case you don't see that email because they're not honoring the price is the long story short here, which is sucks. But also, I guess the second story on this is the TrimUI Pro Brick Hemp, whatever it's called, is going to be $250. $250. Okay, on their official site, the TrimUI site is $199. Still, like, are you insane? The Retroid Pocket Nova is $229. We're about to talk about that in a second. Are you absolutely insane at that price? Let's move on to another story because this one, not a good one. As a reminder, I am filming this on Thursday. Apparently the Ayaneo Pocket Micro 2 is going to have a live stream on Friday. So I'm going to miss all of that information in this week's newscast, which means I'm probably going to miss the price, the processor, and all of that. However, we do know a few new things about the Ayaneo Pocket Micro 2, which is, well, we knew that it was going to be a Snapdragon processor. It is going to be using the 3.5-inch LCD that the original one had. We'll talk about that in a second. It is going to have about a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. They have recessed sticks, which is great, and larger D-pad and larger buttons, which is also great. However, my favorite thing about all of this is the color. There's a black, a white, and then there's going to be a limited edition GameCube color. But the white, oh boy, that white is just fantastic. Like one of the best looking devices, in my opinion, ever made, for sure. And I don't even have it yet. Like that's one of the best looking devices. But let's back all up here. This is unfortunate. If you were around for the Retroid Pocket Mini, when that came out, when the Retroid Pocket Micro came out, the Retroid Pocket Mini completely killed the Micro. It was cheaper, better everything, even for Game Boy Advance and all that sort of thing. We are now here a year later, and the exact same scenario is happening. The Retroid Pocket Nova versus the Ayaneo Pocket Micro 2, and the Nova is going to be better, even for Game Boy Advance. Now, I will admit the Micro 2 is sleek. It looks really good. I'm very interested in it, but I know that when they reveal that price, we don't know what Snapdragon it is, but when they reveal that price, there's almost no way that it is going to be significantly cheaper than the Nova or even cheaper. We don't know. There is a world in my mind where they're like, this is a Retroid Pocket Classics processor. It's $129. I live in a dream world where these things happen, but like that is not going to happen. It would be cool if that happened because then I would buy it. But if this is anywhere near the Nova price, then even for Game Boy Advance, which is my love, I can't see it. Like I can't go back to LCD 60 hertz 3.5 inch when there's a Nova there with 120 hertz OLED, even though it's a 4x3. Like, this is the exact same scenario that happened with the Retroid Pocket Mini and the Ayaneo Pocket Micro, the first one. The difference is they have made improvements here that make me want to buy it. They've listened to feedback. Ayaneo did for the first time ever. So they've improved a lot of things. It looks amazing. I want this. I don't know the price yet. I don't know what the specs are, but I want this. We'll see. We'll talk about this next week when we find out more. But like, Ayaneo always does this to me. They have like a few devices. The Conquer Block looks great. This looks great. And then they release information that's like, okay, I back away now, which is usually the price or like something else. So let's see how this goes. But like, I'm interested. I want this. Ayaneo, I want to buy your stuff. Just make it good. That's it. Okay, and so let's finally talk about the Retroid Pocket Nova and everything you need to know about it. The Retroid Pocket Nova is a 4.5-inch screen, AMOLED, 960p, 120Hz display. It has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 equivalent processor. We're going to call it the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 because it is inside of it, which makes it as powerful as an Odin 2 or any of the Odin 2s and the AYN Thors and the Retroid Pocket 6. There is 8 gigabytes of RAM, but there is a 12 gigabyte RAM option for no extra storage. Both of the models have 128 gigabytes of internal storage. There's a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, Wi-Fi 7, and Android 13. Also, it's UFS 3.1, which doesn't really matter here, but yeah. Color-wise, there is 7 different colors from GameCube, 16-bit, black, crystal, ice blue, clear purple, and watermelon. Crystal, ice blue, clear purple, and watermelon are $5 more than the others for pricing. This starts at $229 US and $5 more for those other colors is $234. There's also a 12 gigabyte RAM option, which is $269 or $274. Not much else to talk about here. This is probably, barring anything weird, and we're going to have to review this, we'll talk about that in a second, going to be the de facto 4x3 option for a lot of people. This kills the Anbernic RG476H, 477M, whatever. Like, this kills all of them. Oh, one thing we didn't mention, you have options for the back. So it comes with a flat back by default, but they are going to sell a different backing for if you wanted, what's the word for it? Ergo bumps. So you can replace the back if you wanted that. Okay, so thoughts here. $229 is more than I would have wanted, but fine. It's fine. Like I could go both ways. It's more than, it should be $199. It should be $199. But then you look at the screen, which is a 4.5-inch, 120 hertz. It's a custom screen. And I could see where we get to $229. I don't hate it. It's fine. Whatever. I wanted a Retroid Pocket Mini, but better, like a 4-inch screen. This is close enough, but I think it might be bigger than I want. I don't know. There is a world where I have a Retroid Pocket Mini and I love the Retroid Pocket Mini, but there is a world where I get one of those and like a little device. That's where 4x3 lives for me. 4-inch, 4x3. Anything bigger than that, I'm just like, whatever. But I'm interested in this. I am interested in the Game Boy Color or the GameCube Color. So I'll probably buy that one, which brings me back to something else. We don't talk about this enough. I talk about it a lot, but we don't talk about this enough. Retroid has gotten consistently worse at the whole review process. This apparently is going up for pre-order tomorrow, Friday, or today, depending on when I release this newscast, Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's when you can buy this. That means you are not getting any reviews before you can pre-order this. You could wait before pre-ordering it. It's not going to go out of stock. You could wait. But they have gotten consistently worse at this. They have not gotten better at this. They have become more anti-consumer as time has gone on because nobody's pushing back on this. And we need to push back on this. You should have reviews before pre-orders go up so we can know what we are buying. Another thing they keep doing is no actual pictures of these devices. What are you buying here? This is a company that is famous, absolutely famous for launch issues from hardware perspective, software perspective, and colors perspective. Like, there is colors here, that we don't know what they're going to look like because there's no real world pictures. And I realize I'm being hard on Retroid here because I am consistently doing this every single launch until somebody listens to me and being like, maybe we should change these things, but these get pre-ordered sight unseen. I'm going to buy one. Obviously, I have to. It's for the channel. But like, this is not pro-consumer in any way, and we need to push back on it. Somebody needs to push back on this to be like, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Amberdick does it right. Amberdick does it properly. We get videos of real colors. We get review units sent out, not to me, but that's fine, to others to see the reviews before they go up for order. And like, here is Retroid that doesn't do it. Like even like AYN does it. AYN is their sister company, brother company, whatever you want to call it. They're all under the same umbrella. Why can Retroid get away with this every single time? Like, how are people okay with pre-ordering stuff sight unseen? I don't get it. Anyways, ranting aside, I think this is a good device. I think this should be a good device. I should probably say that without a review. I don't know. There is not much that can go wrong here, I guess. I mean, it's a new screen, so that can go wrong, but the rest are known parts. So like, I don't know how you could screw up anything else, but like this looks cool. But I want to temper back the FOMO on this one. If you have a Thor, a Portal, Retroid Pocket 6, whatever, you don't need this. You truly do not need this. 4x3, while good for 4x3 games, is limiting for literally everything else. PC emulation, streaming, PPSSPP, whatever you want to call, 3DS, DS, all of it. So you get this. This is not a main device for a lot of people. This is a secondary device, even a third type of device for a lot of people, where you're just like, I want to play 4x3. That's why you get this. If you have a Thor, if you have a Portal, Retro Pocket 6, all of that, you are going to get 4x3 content better than this. So there's no point, unless you really hate black bars, unless black bars murdered your father or whatever. Like, there is no reason for you to feel the FOMO for this. That being said, if you have like a really good PC handheld and you wanted a secondary device, this is good. Like, I could see the use case. If you have a really good 16:9 main handheld, you want a secondary device, this looks good. So there are uses here. This looks really good. I just want to temper back the FOMO that a lot of people experience whenever a new device is released, that they feel like they have to get it. You don't. You really don't. Just play your games. It's fine. Anyways, this looks interesting. I'm going to grab one for review whenever that ships out. And we'll check it out because I am interested in this. It's a Retroid Pocket Mini, but slightly bigger. Hopefully not too much bigger, but that is within the wheelhouse of what I would be looking for. So recap here, $229 starting, which is the SKU that I would suggest. There is no reason to buy the 12 gigabyte SKU. Trust me on this one. For 4x3 content, 8 gigabytes is enough. There is no reason for a 12 gigabyte SKU, especially when you're not getting more storage. That is a trap. Do not fall for it. So get the base SKU if you're going to get this. Pre-orders go live Friday, 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. my time, which is mountain time. That's it. That's all I got. Let's move on. This is your friendly reminder that our games of the month are ending this month, and our game of the season, which is Little Big Planet for PSP, Pokemon Emerald Rogue V2 for Game Boy Advance, and Chrono Trigger. That means on Saturday, we are going to be voting for our new games. Do you want to play games? Do you want to vote on games? Do you want to vote on games and not play games? Come join the Discord. You could do all of that. Okay, as always, we end off the newscast with the newscast Q&A, so send in your questions to newscast@joeysretrohandhelds.com, or there's a Discord channel, you can send it in through there, as well as any stories you might have or news articles that you want me to cover. First question comes in from Super Bottle. Do you have a favorite guide you've made? Probably my Artemis and Apollo guide. I put a lot of effort into that one. And the written guide is even more, I'm going to say impressive. I'm going to toot my own horn. It's impressive. I've done a lot of work on that. So I'm going to say that as a backup, probably my Thor content, my AYN Thor setup guide, I feel really good about and what I did there. So yeah, one of those two would be probably my favorite off the top of my head. Next question comes in from Xcross. Do you think people are now less worried about Switch emulation now that Windows emulation has come a long way? Depends what you mean by worried. Like worried about Nintendo or worried about something else, or worried about actually playing games on Switch emulation. So I am of the mind that if I can play the game via PC emulation, so Game Hub or Game Native, that is where I'll play it because Steam saves, Steam achievements, all of that. I don't really do Android gaming, like off the Play Store. Those are like usually the worst way for me to experience a game. Switch emulation would probably be the backup, but I don't usually play indies or anything on that. That's like my exclusive machine, if anything, and I have a Switch too, so I just play it there. But less worried depends on what you mean by that. So I'm kind of guessing what you mean by less worried here, but like from a Nintendo perspective, yeah, I guess Nintendo stopped caring, I guess, about Switch emulation at the moment because they got the Switch too, so it doesn't really matter, and they're selling gangbusters of that. So, yeah, I guess we've moved on. Next question comes in from Anubis. What is the best dock for my Odin 2 portal? I want to connect it to the TV and Wii setup and other controllers using cable. I am not on US, so Amazon links won't work. I don't know. I want to say the Skull & Co. Dock, which I forget the name. Is it the Joy Dock or Jumpgate? Jumpgate Dock Pro, Jumpgate Dock something. That is the one I have. That is the one that I've found works pretty well. I think it works with the Odin 2 portal from what I remember. I'm pretty sure I tested on that, but that would probably be my answer. Otherwise, you're probably going to want to give this one a Google. I don't dock my Android handhelds. It is the worst experience in the world. But I want to say the Jumpgate Pro, which should be the best, I'm guessing. Last question of the day comes in from Malson, which came in right under the wire. I just caught this right before we were going to end off. As a well-known reader of books, I'm curious to know which fantasy novel or series would you like to see made into a game and why? It doesn't need to be a one-by-one adaptation. It could be a side story or set in the same universe as a way to explore it further. So, Dungeon Crawler is getting a TV series, which is absolutely no way not going to work. Like, for anybody that has read Dungeon Crawler, I don't know how you convert that into a TV series that doesn't have a budget of $1 gajillion. There is aliens, there is so much to that show or book that I don't know how they're going to pull it off. That could be a very good game. Opposite to that, it's going to be my standard answer, Malazan. Like, Malazan could be an amazing video game because they could properly do all of it. You could have like a trilogy. You could tell every story within the series. It would be, no one would have the budget for this. No one would have the love for it. No one would have it would have to be like the Witcher. It would have to be Cyber or CD Projekt Red that would have to make this because Malazan would be the one that would be perfect as a video game. So good. Yeah, that's what I would go with. Malazan, that's my answer. But it was a good question. Thank you. That's going to be it for this one. I apologize. This was a very long one, and we'll see when this releases. It might be actually on Thursday or Friday morning. I haven't really decided. I'm going to give you a day early. I'm going to go enjoy my weekend. A long weekend. I think next week's a long weekend too for me in Canada, but we'll see. Hope you have a good weekend. Hope you have a good time buying the Nova. Hope you have all of this fun stuff. Appreciate you all for watching, and that's all from me, West Sussex, England.